Is it true that you just read a book and cried?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. No more questions.
Okay, I have...
She's under a lot of pressure.
This book is called The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna.
What?
Prepare yourselves.
Okay.
I need tissues. I mean, I did. Just, it's just one of those. Not a whole lot of laughing gonna be going on.
Okay.
It is beautifully and excruciatingly written. The detail, I'm just never gonna do it justice, is what I'm trying to say. So it starts out, and we're in Oregon, USA, Oregon, in 1995. And this woman is moving out of her home she's lived in for many, many years. She's older. She just found out her cancer came back. She's not going to fight it. She's like, I'm good. I'm done. Her son is like a surgeon. He's very like, Mom, we need to do this. Like, you're moving into a home. But there's this old trunk that she opens. And there's all these different pictures and all these different things in the old trunk. But there is specifically an ID card that says Juliet Gervais.
Juliet
Gervais.
Okay.
Okay.
That is a mouthful.
Juliet Gervais.
Yes.
5 times fast.
Juliet Gervais.
Then it switches to 1940 France. This book also made me really want to go to France.
Done.
Trip, backwards book club trip.
We have our two main characters, Vienne and Isabel. Two sisters, Vienne and Isabel Rosengal. They are several years apart. I believe they're 10 years apart. Their father has significantly been damaged, both physically and mostly mentally, by the Great War. Their mother dies. Vienne is 13, 14. She's devastated. She does not know how to be there for Isabel, who's like 4.
Oh, okay. Pretty big age gap.
Yes, and Isabel is just a firecracker. She is afraid of nothing. She says what she wants to say. No one can make her do what she doesn't want to do.
And she's 4?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And Vienne is not that way. She's very much likes following the rules, not taking risks, etc.
Okay.
Their father, Julian, leaves them at a house, I think it's family, he leaves them with, and he's like, basically, I can't be your dad. Like, your mom's gone, good luck. So they are really damaged by that. Vienne kind of abandons Isabel in a way, because she doesn't know how to mother her, and doesn't want to acknowledge her grief about her mother. She makes friends with a girl named Rachel, and she makes friends with a man named Anton.
Okay.
Anton and her fall in love, and she gets pregnant. I think she gets pregnant at 16.
Okay, so some time has passed.
A little bit, yeah. Anton is an amazing man. They get married. She ends up losing 3 babies.
Dang, 3?
Mm-hmm.
In a row in the city?
Yes, I believe so. Now, Isabel's like 18. Vienne is late 20s. She now they have one daughter named Sophie.
Okay.
And she's 9,
okay.
10. So they were able to have Sophie. As far as life goes, they're really happy, the 3 of them. Isabel keeps getting kicked out of different convents and different finishing schools. And she's like,
really a firecracker.
Yeah, she's like, why do I have to learn how to use this fork? Like, what is the purpose of that? Like, she doesn't have time for that.
Cool.
I don't disagree.
But she's also very lonely. She does not feel like her sister loves her or her father. She feels very alone in the world.
But she has a good relationship with her sister, no? Or
iffy, because Vienne kind of abandoned her. She was like, yeah, I have my Rachel and Anton, my friends. Good luck type thing.
Got it.
Not a whole lot of connection. It starts out 1940. Anton gets papers that he has to leave for the war the next day. They're devastated. They don't know what's coming, etc. Then it kind of switches from Isabel to Vienne throughout the whole book. We have Isabel. She just got kicked out of another school. She goes to her dad's Paris apartment. He says, no, you're not living here with me.
Gee.
And Paris is getting taken over by Germany. So Paris falls. Thousands of refugees are now leaving Paris to go somewhere safe. There's safe zones in the country, and everyone is just in survival mode. So he's like, I have friends in a car. They're going to take you as far as this place. Then you're going to go to Vianne's inn. Vianne lives in the house that he left them at.
Okay.
And that's in Corriveau. Corriveau, more in the country. He's like, you're going to go stay with her. She's going to need you to be with her while her husband leaves.
Gotcha.
So she's...
At least he helped with that.
Yes, he's like, get out. Vianne needs you. So then she is forced to be in this group of thousands of people who are in desperation mode. Every town they get to, it's like run down to get every single supply.
Reminds me of like the pandemic when the toilet paper ran out.
Shoot.
But yes, but worse. Like people are carrying anything they can and whatever they have, and babies are crying, and it's just madness and chaos. The Germans end up coming and flying over and bombing the refugees.
Gee.
Horrible things she sees, just pretty traumatizing. And she ends up coming to this forest. There's a guy there who has a fire, and he's roasting like a rabbit. And it's been a couple days now where she's been walking. Like,
gee, okay. She's in the woods. Like,
she's cold, she's hungry, comes upon this guy. His name's Gaetan. He says my friends call him Gate. Ends up revealing that he's like, I'm actually a prisoner. I don't know if you want to be friends with me. He's like, I don't know if he escaped or they just like let us go. He was like a political prisoner in France.
So he's a German.
No, he's French, and he was in a French prison.
Oh,
not related to the war.
Okay, got you.
They end up really bonding in the aftermath and chaos of everything. He like ends up carrying her through things after the bombing when she gets hurt, and ends up taking her and getting her to Vianne's house. She's like passed out, so cold, so everything. It's been a number of days. They end up having a moment, kissing, and she is so desperate for love. She loves very easily. And so she's like, I love you. Like, oh, and he's like, I'm not going to sit around and watch this war happen. And she's like, yes, I'm not going to just sit and let these Germans take over. Now that she's seen all of this, she's like, I want to do whatever I can. I want to be
where the people are.
Yes, I want to be
involved and make a difference. France wants you.
Yeah, I told. That was like the least French thing ever.
I know, it's because
they even make fun of Americans in this book.
Rightfully so.
Yeah, I would make fun of us.
So she's just like, she's a little naive in her not being afraid of things, but like she's incredibly brave in things too. Gaetan leaves her. She's basically unconscious on Vianne's door.
Wait, does he tell her he loves her back? Okay.
He leaves her a note on, like, pinned to her, saying, "You aren't ready yet."
Because she's young, right?
She's 18. Vianne finds her, brings her in, gets her better. So Isabella's there, and things are like a little, hi, like, we're not super close type thing. But she loves Sophie, Sophie's aunt. Vianne is grateful for another person to go into town and start getting in line for rations.
Sure.
Because Vianne is a school teacher. So while she does that during the day, Isabelle can get rations in line. Germans come. They basically start taking any valuables from people's houses. They say, you're going to turn in your radio so you can't really hear the real news of what's happening. Isabelle is actually really smart, and she's like, they're not taking our valuables. Like, she goes into the barn, because she used to play there alone as a child, and she knows that under the car that they have is a trap door. Opens the trap door, puts in supplies, oil lamps, all of their valuables that, like, can pass off, of being down there, makes like a bunker. A man named Captain Beck comes and says, hey, I'm so sorry, but I'm going to be living here.
Whoa.
Like, you have a very nice home. I'm a captain. I'm going to be living here.
He's
actually Wolfgang Beck. He's actually, it's so funny, his character. You're like, do I trust you?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think I do. Okay, wait a second. Like, so he's very kind. He says, Madame, I'm so sorry, but I'm going to be staying here. I will take your guest room. I won't bother you, etc. Isabel hates this. She's like, how dare you come and stay in our home? Like, gives him all the sass in the world. He's like, you have beautiful hair. And she just straight up gets a knife and cuts it all off in front of him. Like,
that's Isabella for you, though.
and he's like, oh.
She's sassy.
How old is he?
He's probably late 20s. I mean, he's a captain, so he's farther up than just a regular guy. And Vianne's like, do not do anything to put me and my daughter at risk.
Yeah.
Like, you are so
impulsive.
Yes, you are so impulsive. Your mouth is going to get you killed, and it's going to get me and my daughter killed. Like, Vianne is very, follow the rules, and we will be safe. This will pass. Anton's going to come home. Just do what they freaking say.
Right.
Okay? And Isabel's like, hell no. She goes and she tells Vianne, yep, I'm going to stand in all the ration lines. She does well. Then someone grabs her. She sees a Nazi sign, like a pro-Nazi sign, and she starts defacing it.
Oh my gosh, that's so scary.
Someone grabs her arm.
Oh my gosh, that's so scary.
She was just told not to do stuff that would get her family killed.
Gosh. And it was like the most public place possible.
Yes, she's like, oh, no one can see me. And it's like,
everyone
excuse me.
You. Yeah.
So then she's taken to this small apartment with this group of people.
You don't know who grabbed her.
You don't know who grabbed her. Damn. Turns out it's people with the resistance. I call them the resistance. I don't know what to call them with the allies.
Yeah, the
French people who are like, no, we're going to stand up.
They're with the revolution.
Yes.
Okay, good. So of all the people to get caught by,
yes. So
best
they're like,
case scenario.
Obviously, you're open to doing something about this, so come with me.
Isabella.
So we're introduced to a woman called Anouk, and Henri is significant in the story as well. They're all a part of this little group. Since all the radios were taken, they're like, we create pamphlets and newspapers of like what's really happening. You're gonna deliver them to people like in the night.
Oh jeez, it's a pretty bold, scary job for the newcomer.
But it's Isabel, and she's like, I'll do it. Like, no fear. So she starts delivering newspapers. It's going well. Vianne doesn't know what she's doing. And then she's up. She does it throughout the night, and then she's the first one in the ration lines because she's already up. So Vianne's like, okay, yeah, you're doing awesome. So they get...
But Vianne doesn't know. She's, of course not, because Vianne would lose her mind.
And they're living with the German officer. Like,
oh, yeah.
Just thinks,
what's
like,
happening?
You're awesome. You're getting us.
Yes. So
she's stressing me out.
Let's see.
Stressed out Adam is a fun Adam.
It doesn't happen very often. Things happen. Vianne is teaching school. Captain Beck brings them. I mean, the Germans have ample amount of food for all of their men and everything. So he will bring her spare things that he can. He takes care of them in a way. So he asks Vianne for a list from her school, all the teachers of the Jews, the communists, etc.
Oh no.
And he says it's purely clerical.
Don't trust it.
Wrong.
Write down their
Wrong.
names. Okay.
Wrong.
Vianne, we are seeing all of this in hindsight, right? She has no idea why he would want this list. Also, she's like, what, am I just not going to give them the names?
Are they Jewish?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
They're Catholic. So she gives them the names. And she writes down her friend Rachel. Do you remember Rachel?
Oh.
She's Jewish and works at the school with her. And she's like, I feel like I shouldn't be giving you these names, but Beck says, it's clerical, it's fine. Nothing comes of it for several weeks.
Still. Do you think Beck knew what it was for, or was he told it's clerical?
So when those people at the school are fired, Rachel is fired from teaching, she gets like, asks Beck, I gave you those names, I feel so guilty. He's like, I thought it was clerical. I was told by my people that it was clerical.
Yeah.
Yes. We don't know if that's true.
It's one of those, do we trust him or not?
Yes. So she confesses to Rachel that she basically got fired because of her.
Oh, she tells Rachel that?
Mm-hmm. She's like, you're my best friend. I would never do this to you on purpose.
And the guilt.
Oh, it's going to feel even worse.
Rachel has a girl, Sarah, who's Sophie's age. They're best friends.
Oh, shoot.
And then she has a boy, Ari, who's like 2 at this point. She's super upset, but comes into the room and is like, you know what? Our husbands have been taken to this war, and we have to carry on. Like, it's okay if you didn't know. All is well so far.
Okay.
Is it though?
You know what's coming.
Oh, damn.
But yes, so they don't know what's coming. They're just kind of surviving. So Isabel steals a bike
Come
that
on.
the Germans stole from someone else. So Isabel steals a bike. She takes it to Henri, one of the members of the groups, and he's like, "Yeah, let's paint it." She's like, "I could just get around and deliver paper so much faster on this." She gets away with it.
Frick, Izzy.
She
And 9
is
lives.
For real though.
She's making bold decisions, not thinking about her sister or her niece.
Yes, so they are impressed with her work, and especially for how young she is. They recommend or propose to her that she could actually go back to Paris and help with them in there because they're doing bigger work. And she absolutely wants to go. And she leaves Vienne, says, I have a lover, Henri, and we're running away to Paris together, because she knows Vienne thinks so little of her that she would believe that of her. So, Vienne's like, your mouth is going to get us in trouble, so you feel free to go.
Okay, wow.
So she goes to Paris.
How does she get rations now?
They just have to go after school, or they just handle it. And she's still getting paid and everything, so. And Beck is providing some food as well. So, shortly after Isabel leaves, Vienne gets fired from being a teacher.
What'd she do?
One of her coworkers has been found to be helping the Allies.
Got it.
In some way, I don't remember what. He is being taken away, and she's like, wait, what did he do? What's wrong? And they're like, why are you asking questions? You're fired.
Oh, that's messed up.
Essentially. Okay. Now she's stressed.
Interesting that she was worried Isabel's mouth would get them in trouble.
Yeah, and then
And it
her
was
mouth.
the one time she questioned anything. And it
just
was
like
to
a simple
clarify.
question. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't like a arguing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's rotten luck.
Poor Vienne.
So she is very stressed, but she finds out from Captain Beck. He says, I looked into your husband to see where he was, and he is he's a prisoner of war.
Oh.
That's the worst.
And he's like, he will not be coming home. She's like, but you can write to him, and you can send him packages. I will get those to him. Okay?
How does... Alright.
What?
He will not be coming home. Like, because he was scheduled to come home?
Because from
He's a
the
prisoner
German
of war.
perspective, he's like, we're going to win this war. He's not going to be coming home.
So we're going to kill him.
Yes. Eventually, yes.
That's a shame.
So he's like, but you can send him letters. I'll get him packages.
Ugh.
The vibe between them, he's like, you're very beautiful.
Ooh, some sexual tension all up in this?
It's hard because he also really talks about his wife and kids with her too. It's kind of like, but when you
the terrors of war bringing us together.
a little bit, yeah.
What does he do as a captain? It sounds like he just sits around in the house.
He's gone a lot.
Oh, okay.
He only brings home food if he's going to be eating at home there.
Oh, okay. Because it just sounds like every time we see him, it's like they're at the
Hey, I
kitchen
did this
table.
for you.
Yeah.
No, he's gone a lot. Doing German Nazi
Captain
things.
things.
Yes. Yeah, I kept referring to him as like Rolf from Sound of Music,
Yeah.
where you like love him and then he whistle blows on everyone and you're like, oh my gosh,
Frick,
such
Rolf.
betrayal. Okay, so
What?
Debbie,
You've never
you
seen The Sound of Music?
uncultured swine.
How have you never seen The Sound of Music?
Because it's like a 12-hour movie.
Julie Andrews
It
is
is
rolling over in
not.
her bed.
Alive and well.
Yeah, though he's.
That's why I said bed.
It's,
What?
It's like a 6-hour movie.
It is
It's
not, 6
though,
hours.
and
Feels
it's
like it.
and it's worth it.
Is it?
It's
Yes.
not even that long. It's probably 3 hours.
That's a long ass movie.
Just for the sheer culture of it. That's something you have to watch.
I know most of the songs. I know somebody almost drowned.
I'm extremely disappointed in you. Anyways, okay.
How do we solve a problem like our Deborah? Edelweiss.
It was funny.
We're
the first
not
time.
even like close to being done, bro. Isabel gets to Paris. She gets to her dad's apartment and basically makes him say, "Fine, you can stay here."
Nice.
She finds out that he is working for the Germans.
Heard their dad?
Yes, not like working like he's gonna go.
Like a spy?
Yeah, not like that. It's like clerical work.
Oh, I never.
Because he's a writer. He owns a bookshop in Paris. Like, he has great penmanship. Like, he's working just to get money for them. Okay, from them. Gets in contact with the. I almost said rebel base.
You should.
I'm such a nerd. Get contact with the rebel base, the people who
The resistance.
are resisting. Yes,
This
in
is
Paris.
Star Wars.
And it's a bigger movement in the.
Yeah, it's all
Paris,
connected, but yes. So
Right.
she gets a code name,
Cool.
and she works at her father's shop, and the shop can only be opened because it sells German books or things that the Germans are interested in. So a lot of German soldiers come in. She like flirts with them and like
Because she can.
gets friendly with them, and
Oh, wait, I can't wait for Gaeton to come back
Gaeton.
into the picture.
we go back to 1995. Do you remember where the book even started?
Yeah.
Okay. This woman is moving into the retirement home and gets a letter from France. And her son is like, "Why are you receiving a letter from France? You don't talk about France. Like, I have wanted to go there my whole life with you. We don't go. Like, why are you getting a letter from
And we
France?"
still don't know who this woman is at this
Don't know who
point.
she is. And it says, "Come to Paris for an awards ceremony honoring your heroic effort in the war."
I bet her code name was that ID in the trunk.
I don't know. Okay.
We do know!
We don't know until the very end. Yeah.
Well, we know.
Okay. Now we're back in early 40s Paris. Isabel is walking to a resistance meeting. She spots an airman that is hiding like in the park, like behind
German airman?
dumpsters, and British airman.
Oh, what's up, Britain?
So when their planes get shot down overhead, some of them survive, they fall, then the Germans look for them, right? He's hiding. She says, "Okay, I'll help you, I guess." And actually, she's not. Anyways, she ends up taking him to her dad's apartment, hides him in this closet thing that's in her old room. She's like, "Don't make a sound. Stay here. I'm going to get you help." Okay? So she goes to her meeting and is like, "I found this airman. I don't know what to do with him." And they're like, "All right, it's a little bold, but we have been looking to try and find a way to help these men get out of here and save as many as we can so they can get back home, teach people what it's like to fly over planes, get back in the planes and keep bombing Germany, etc." They come up with a plan because she's like, "My mother's really good friends lives very close to the Pyrenees Mountains." The Pyrenees Mountains is this huge mountain range
This
that
is Isabel
connect
talking? Her
Uh-huh.
mom's okay.
that connect France to Spain.
Okay.
So if we can get them over those mountains, we'll get to the British embassy in Spain and get them home.
Sounds
Sucking at
hard.
this, I'm getting
Yeah.
tired.
All you have to do is climb this mountain.
Climb these mountains, travel across this country, travel these mountains into another country, travel across that country, and then
Yeah.
we can get you home.
So her airman she found and like 3 others They get all their papers in line, and they're like, "Are you going to do this, Isabel?" And she says yes. Her code name is the Nightingale.
Oh.
And her new papers say Juliet Gervais.
Ooh, we call.
Okay?
You said we don't find out till the end of the book.
You don't. Okay.
Huh? We just
We
found
just
out.
found out.
So,
Are we at the end?
yeah, and they make it over the mountain. The end.
Halfway after.
Bury the lead on that one.
Yeah, don't read the rest of the book. Okay, so.
If we are in blissful peace right now.
We are.
Mhm. She's like, yeah, I'm 19. I'm this blonde girl. They'll never expect anything from me. She ends up learning that her dad is part of the resistance.
Oh.
Oh.
And he forges papers that he gets from the German officers he works
Respect.
with.
Didn't like him? Kind of like him.
So he,
And it makes sense why he's like, no, you can't be here.
yes,
Go to your
he's
sister.
like, this is not safe for you to be here. Yes, exactly.
Alright, respect.
And he's like, and I totally knew that you had this airman in our house. Like,
Yeah, you did not hide it well.
Did not pull it fast enough.
so he creates and forges documents for them and these pilots to try and get over the mountains. She prepares to leave. They all prepare. It takes 4 to 5 pilots. They all, like, leave from different destinations and meet up and, like, stay far away from each other. It's this whole operation. And she gets to her mom's friend in the mountains, not having contacted her, just hoping that she's like, okay, yeah, sure, I'll help you.
Yeah.
Mom's friend is called Madame Michelin Babanu.
Whoa. Madame Zeroni. Michelin Bababoo.
Yeah. Bababoo, no. Babanu.
Oh, I was close.
They, like, it's a trek to, like, get to their house. Like, they're, like, mountain people. They raise goats, like,
Heck yeah.
and they're like, okay, cool. Yeah, we'll help you.
Alright, respect.
Okay?
Ronaldo, is he from Spain?
I think, I'm so sad that it's, if it's not his name, but essentially because he's like, yeah, I'll take you over those mountains. Like, he
Okay.
knows the back trails. He knows how to do it. This trek over the mountains is horrendous.
No.
One, it's winterish time. It's almost spring. Freezing rain. It snows on them. 3 British pilots and 1, like, Canadian pilot. And the Canadian's like, just leave me, man. Like, I can't do this. And she's like, do you have someone? Like, she's so empowering. She's like, do you have someone at home waiting for you? He's like, yes. He's like, do it for her.
Yeah.
Let's keep going. It's this huge trek. They end up making it to Spain and go into the British Embassy. And he's like, you did this? You let these men here? And she's like, yep. He's like, you're awesome. And here is a lot of money to keep doing it.
Oh,
Hey.
no kidding.
So
Let's go,
she-
Isabella. Respect.
So she goes back to Paris with money to fund this new. Okay, we did it. We can get these more pilots and keep taking them over the mountains.
Jeez,
Okay.
always.
While that's all happening, Vienne, back in her town, Captain Beck comes home one night and says, "You tell your friend Rachel to hide. They're going to be coming for her tomorrow." Okay.
Oh my gosh.
So Beck
You think he's
warning
good?
her
Yeah.
is lovely. They decide to try and head for the border with papers, because Henri, do you remember Henri? He's still in the same town. Vienne talked to him. He's like, I can maybe get her papers. They try and go to the border to get safe before people come for her. Okay.
They get captured.
Chaos ensues. Officer open fires on the crowd with his machine gun.
Why?
I honestly fast forwarded a little bit because she writes in such detail. Because Sarah, her little 11-year-old, gets shot in the back.
Oh,
And
no.
dies?
Is gone. Uh-huh.
Oh, no.
So it's just sadness, chaos. Rachel and Ari don't know what to do, so they're like, we obviously can't cross the border. And so Vienne says, go to the cellar in the bunk, stay there. Okay. They come out and get her too soon because Beck said hide tomorrow morning and nothing happened. And Rachel is in there grieving.
Mhm.
Ari doesn't have diapers. Like, it's this situation, so she needs to get out earlier. And they're like, well, like nothing happened. She gets out too early. They come, Rachel gets taken away. Ari gets to stay because he's French born. So she kind of adopts Ari, and they change his name. They get him new papers. She's like, your name is Daniel now. I'm your mama. Like, Sophie isn't like, I'm your big sister, to really try and protect him.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Isabel, they've set up safe houses for the pilots to go to while they're traveling to the mountains. And Isabel never comes and says hi to Vienne. She wants to protect her. She doesn't involve her in anything. But she's very close to the town. And airplanes fly over, bombings. Airplane crashes very close to her. It's an Allied airplane. She sees the pilot. He's badly injured, but she's like, hey, my sister's house is right here. I'm going to go take him into the bunker. She's in the bunker, in the barn. Beck comes home and is like, have you seen any airmen? He's very stressed. It is all on him to find this missing airman. Because they know they found the plane and the airman is gone. So they know that an
Does
Allied
Vienne
person is...
know that airman is there and Isabella's there?
At this point, I don't think so.
Okay.
So she doesn't even know Isabella's there.
Okay.
So the first time he comes back, he says, okay, keep an eye out. And please don't lie to me if you see someone. I can't remember how Vienne finds out, but she finds out, and she's like, how can you have brought him here? Like, I am in a good place with Beck, me and Sophie, and now Ari, I have to take care of her, Daniel. Like, once again, you've brought us in so much trouble. I can't believe you did this. Beck comes home. He's so stressed out of his mind because he is in so much trouble for not finding this airman that he starts, like, looking in the house, and he's like, I don't care what you tell me. I can't believe you. I have to look for myself. Sees that in the barn, tire marks, the car's been moved, etc. And now that she knows, she's like, please, Beck, like, don't look in there. He has to, like, his life is on the line, essentially. He goes to open the cellar. She knows that if he sees what's down there, her children, everyone's gonna, like, there's nothing Beck can do. They're going to be in major trouble / killed. She takes a shovel. He opens the thing. She takes a shovel and hits him over the head. And as that's happening, there's 2 gunshots. Okay? She hit him over the head while Isabel down there had a gun and shot Beck. Okay? Beck falls, and he's like, tell my family, like, just...
We like Beck.
Yes, we liked Beck, and he was a good man, essentially.
And Isabel, I mean, they all just screwed it, but frickin'.
So Vienne's, like, furious at Isabel. Like, he was protecting us, he gave us food, like, you are the reason this is happening.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
They know where he was staying.
Uh-huh.
Oh, they're screwed.
So she is furious at Isabel, Henri, and I think Gaetan comes. They've had a little bit of contact. She knows that Gaetan is a part of the resistance too. Gaetan, Henry, and maybe someone else is there because Isabel contacted them saying, hey, I have a pilot, come help me with this, because he's really injured. Turns out he died in the night.
Oh my gosh.
Wasn't even worth
Oh my gosh. Ugh, I hate it. I'm so mad.
You started this book by saying we're not going to be laughing, and here you are laughing.
Just because I'm like, I was there. I've been there.
This is why I love Backwards Book Club, is that you can get the reactions that you were feeling.
It's very validating. Yes. So now they have 2 bodies to take care of, the airman and Beck.
They're so screwed, dude.
I'm so stressed.
I know.
They take care of the bodies.
What do they do?
They go bury them.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
How do you cut? Okay.
I guess
okay, you just tell me.
But before that, she's yelling at Isabel, and she realizes Isabel is not only covered in the airman's blood, she was shot by Beck.
Oh, that was the second bullet?
Isabel was. She was shot in the shoulder. There's an exit wound. But she passes out, and Vienne immediately goes from, "You're not welcome here. I hate you so much," to, "Oh my gosh,
You need to save my sister.
Yes, like, save your life type thing. Okay? Gaetan is there as well. So Vienne kind of gets like, "Oh, you're Gaetan? She kind of told me about you." He's like, "Yes, I love her.
Oh.
But I can't tell her that because this is war and vulnerability and she's so young and etc."
Okay.
Okay? She...
Men. There's always time to be vulnerable.
Okay, so they take care of the bodies, and they put Isabel, she's all patched up and should be fine. They put her in this wagon and get her to safety, essentially. Germans, soldiers, obviously come looking for Beck.
Dang.
Then enter something von Richter.
Oh, he's no good.
He's no good.
Oh, shoot.
He is stereotypical. When you think of the word Nazi, you think of a man like him. Okay? He questions her very creepily, and they end up believing her that she's like, he would leave for days, weeks at a time. Like, he came home really stressed, and then all of a sudden he says, "I know where he is," and then I just never saw him again. Like,
oh man, okay.
She passes it off.
Good job, Vienne.
But he says, "Okay, well, he was staying there, and now I'm going to stay at your house, because your house is really nice." Okay?
Blanc. What is his name again? Von Kill... No.
That sounded like Father of the Bride when he's like, "Mr. Bonks." Like,
It's Bonks.
Keep going.
Von Richter.
Von Richter.
He's like higher up than Beck. He's creepy. Now things are getting really bad. Like, they go to line up for rations, and sometimes there's just nothing. Like, it's getting really sparse and really bad. And he'll like have a full meal in front of her and just throw away the leftovers. He'll make a full pot of coffee and like dump it in the sink while smiling at her. Like, just evil dude. Okay? So now they are starting to, I don't know how to say it politically correctly, round up all of the Jews in the country. It doesn't matter where you're from. Everyone's wearing the Star of David. Vienne is in the square, and chaos ensues very quickly. A lot of the Jews from the community are getting put onto trucks and hauled away. A woman with two boys bumps into her, and the woman says, "Please take my youngest. Please take he's a 4-year-old. She says, "Please take him. Don't let him come with us." She's like, okay, I'm taking him." She doesn't. She's
How's
like,
she gonna take home a kid to Von Kilmer?
Exactly. So
what's the name
she Von Richter.
Von Richter. Richter scale. Earthquakes. Von Richter. Okay. I have to remember. I have to think of ways to remember.
She takes him to Mother Superior because Vienne really relies on her faith a lot. She has a relationship with Mother Superior. She's like, "Can you please? He's Jewish. Can you please risk taking him as one of your children here?" And she says, "I can get him his baptismal papers." She's like, "But I don't think I can get him other papers to change his name, etc." She talks to Henri again, is able to get him papers with a new name, saying he's not Jewish, have him be there, and be safe. Mother Superior says, "We need to do this for more children." She's like, "And I want you to be in charge of it."
Jeez.
And Vienne's like, "Do you know who I'm living with?" Like, but Vienne has also, I mean, war has gone on for years now. It's kind of like, I don't have a choice. As a human being, I don't have a choice to say no to this. So she ends up finding more children and going to homes of mothers she knows and saying, "This is the choice. You can leave your children with us or risk them going with you," etc. Plus, they don't even know really where they're going. They don't have any idea. Like, she doesn't know if Rachel's alive or dead. Isabel is healing from her gunshot wound at a safe house with Gaetan. They end up sleeping together. They end up being like, the time is now. She is getting ready to go on another mission. She's gone on several before.
All
To
the mountain trips?
Okay. To the point where Ronaldo doesn't really have to even go anymore. She leads the men.
She has got to be the most fit 22-year-old.
She's in shape.
Oh, yeah. I forgot
The
about her.
goat herder lady. She goes to her house like normal with these pilots. Germans show up.
In the mountains?
At the house.
How?
Because she's gone on so many missions and they have lost so many airmen. The Nightingale is like being hunted. It's very she's very well known.
That's
and
cool.
they have been it's gotten more and more dangerous as she does it.
Dude, what a badass.
She wakes up, they're like, who is the Nightingale? She's like, oh, you don't know, it's me, okay. She has to have like 2 days. She knows she has to last 2 days in questioning for the sake of the other members so they can get out.
Okay.
Or they can protect themselves.
Jeez
okay?
Louise. And where is this at? This is at like a German base now or something?
Yeah, it's somewhere in France, yeah. Right by the mountains, like.
But the people she was taking, they were able to get into the mountains? And they just grabbed her, or did they grab
they got all the airmen.
Oh, frick. Okay.
So why is she waiting 2 days then if they're not getting out?
It's because it's on it's everyone involved.
Oh.
Yeah. But she's like, I also don't even know if they know if I'm captured. Like, tricky situation. So, then it's Vienne. Vienne's father shows up, Julian.
Okay.
Okay? He says, hey, Isabel's been taken. She has been found out. I'm going to go try and save her. And here's a letter to both of you. And I'm so sorry for
everything.
My choices, how I acted. Kind of heals that relationship a little bit. She knows that he's going to go tell them that he is the Nightingale.
Oh.
Wow.
Tells them he's the Nightingale. They believe him because they would not believe that a girl would be the Nightingale.
Yeah, especially a young girl.
And of course, Isabel doesn't know this, right?
Right. And she even says, no, I'm the Nightingale. I am. And they're like, yeah, whatever.
Oh.
Okay. So Julian is killed.
Damn.
Does she witness that?
She doesn't witness it, but she sees his body in the square and stuff like that. And she is sent to a camp.
Oh, no.
She's sent to a camp with Madame Babanu.
Oh.
So, things are not looking good. Then,
Good source.
Von Richter.
Hey,
and all German soldiers, really, all Nazis, are getting more and more cruel because they are losing the fight. Americans are now in the war. They're losing things on different fronts. He's like, I've noticed that Daniel looks nothing like you.
Oh, no.
And she's like, my husband's sister died. We adopted him before the war. Like,
yes. Legit.
And he's like, I could easily check his papers. Threatens her children, and she is like, no, please, not my children. And he sees where her weakness is now, and uses that. She becomes pregnant with his baby. Awful, awful, awful. It happens several times.
Oh, no.
Sophie is now 13, almost 14, and is like, Mom, I know what he's doing to you. Like, and she barely finds out that she's pregnant because she has morning sickness, and Sophie's like, I hate him, let's kill him. And Vienne's like, no, they would just come for us, or someone worse would show up. Like, so she's dealing with that. Isabel is at the camp. She's very sick. She just talks about everything we have learned about concentration camps in our lives. Just everything. And you just focus on the one step in front of you. You try not to think about your life before and who you were. Von Richter leaves. He says the war is ending. The Americans are coming.
Yeah, better run, Von.
He knows she's pregnant?
No.
Good. I don't want him in that.
She's early enough that she, no.
Get out of there.
He leaves. He says, we're all leaving. Good riddance. Then Anton comes home. Do you
Oh!
remember who Anton is?
Oh shoot, she's pregnant.
Anton comes home and he says, "I escaped. I love you." She is so happy to see him, obviously, but like they look at each other and they're like, "We're strangers.
Yeah,
like
don't know each other, yeah.
we don't even know what each other's been through." Anton is so sweet and is like, "We can't just forget. We have to remember. We have to remember who we are and remember what our lives were and what they can be, and we're going to move forward and forget all the bad stuff." They sleep together the night he's home, and then they kind of just like, they need to like kind of rebuild their trust and intimacy and everything. So she ends up telling him she's pregnant, and she says, "I think it happened when you came home that night."
Oh no!
Okay? But he says his whole speech of "let's just forget," and you kind of get like
he knows.
yes, like he acknowledges that he's like, "I don't know the unspeakable things you went through, and you don't know mine. Let's forget and let's move on. And this baby is such a hope." And she's like, "This baby is innocent of how he was created, like everything." So it's a peaceful, loving thing. It's alright. And he's home. Like, Sophie's so happy.
But the war's not quite over, or it's over?
Yeah, it's like getting over, but yes. But like Isabel is still in the camp. They move her to a different camp. She ends up seeing Anouk. Do you remember Anouk? She was part of the...
Oh, yeah.
She sees her through a fence, and they're like, "Hi, goodbye." Like,
We never see you again.
this connection, yes. So, but eventually, she gets sicker. She starts coughing up blood. And then, all of a sudden, the Americans come into the camp.
Save the day.
Yes,
America.
they made it. Her and Madame Babanu.
Oh, good.
Say they made it, okay? So now that the war is, like, really ending, everyone around Vienne is like, "Have you seen this person?" Like, really starting to look for their family members. They're looking for Isabel, but because she doesn't know what happened once her dad left. And they can't find any records of her because her record would be under Juliette Gervais, but Vienne doesn't know that name, right? They do find out that Rachel died about a month after she left in the camps. And
So she didn't make it very long at all.
No. And her husband died in a prisoner of war camp. So Daniel is an orphan. They know that for sure now. But he calls her mama. He knows his name is Daniel. He doesn't really even remember. But the war is really ending. They have this happy, lovely scene as a family, and then these two people from this Jewish group, this organization that is trying to reconnect Jewish families, especially with children, to their family members. And they say, "We know Ari, who he is. Rachel's sister's in New York. We're going to take him, and he's going to be with her."
That's hard for Vienne.
Yes, she's like,
And
"He's my son."
And hard for Daniel because he doesn't really remember anything else.
Yes. And so she's like, "Please." She's like, "Please, Rachel was my best friend. She asked me to take him, like, I will raise him, I'll take him to the synagogue, like, however you want." And he's like, "I'm not trying to be rude or diminish that connection you have, but we as a Jewish people, we have to come together right now, and we have to raise our children." And he's like, "We don't trust that you're going to take him whenever you remember. Like, he needs to be with his people right now as we rebuild and we heal." And so Daniel, Ari,
How old is he at this point, roughly?
5, 6.
Okay, so still little. That's awful.
So he's obviously distraught. Sophie gives him Bebe, her little stuffed animal she's kept this whole time. So it's very sad. But they still have this one on the way, and he's going to family, he's going to be safe, he's going to be happy. But they're like, "He needs to forget you. Like, don't write to him." Then, a while passes. Isabel shows up at Vienne's house. She's taken there. She's still very, very sick. She has a lot of PTSD.
Yeah.
And she's bald. She's just withered away. But they get reconnected. Vianne says, "You are always welcome here. I'm so sorry for what I said when we last parted. You're my sister. I love you." They read their letter that their dad wrote them, and it basically says, "I am so sorry for who I was after the war and how I changed and how I treated you, and I love you both dearly." She's sitting in the garden, and Gaetan shows up. And he's like, even though she looks the way she does, he's like, "You're beautiful as ever. I love you." She's very happy. And the last thing she says is, "I love you, don't forget." And we find out later that she ends up passing away.
Oh.
From her...
Isabella does?
From her really, really severe pneumonia illness stuff.
So
It's not her.
So in 1995, this woman's son decides to go to Paris with her. She says, "I have cancer, I'm dying, I haven't returned back home. Okay, I'm gonna go." She doesn't tell her son. She leaves him a message and is like, "Hey, this is happening." And he's like, "Oh my gosh, I know nothing of your past. Why are you going to Paris right now? I'm obviously coming with you, Mom." Okay? They just enjoy Paris together. And then they go to this gala honoring ceremony. And she picks up her name tag, and they're like, "Oh, Madame, we've been waiting for you. Please come in." Huge ballroom with a few other women up on stage, and they have her come up on stage. They say, "Do you want to say a few words?" She starts out by saying, "My sister Isabel was an unstoppable force. She saved 118 airmen crossing the Pyrenees Mountains." Her son Julian is like, "What's happening?" Like, she...
Never knew any of this.
When her and Anton said, "Let's forget," they forgot.
So this son is Vanderpump.
Von
Richter.
Richter's son, yes.
And he literally knows that biologically.
Anton is his dad, yep.
Wow.
And so he's like learning all this new information about who she is and his family and everything. She gives this whole speech. They all clap. One of the women that is also there is a Nook, so we know that she survived and is getting honored for her part. And she's going through the crowd, headed towards Julian, etc. And an old man comes up, and it's Gaetan. He says, "I want you to meet my daughter, Isabel." He's like, "I loved her all my life." And it's like this beautiful moment.
That's cute.
Then she's talking to Julian, and she's like, "I will tell you almost everything." She's like, "A French woman needs her secrets, but I'm ready to tell you about everything that I went through and etc." People acknowledge, they're like, "No, it wasn't just your sister. You saved 19 Jewish children as well." And a man comes up to her who's a little bit younger, but still gray-haired and everything. And he's like, "Do you remember me?"
Is it Daniel?
It's Ari. It's Daniel.
It's gonna make me tear up.
And he's like, "I never forgot you. They told me to, and I never forgot you." He's like, "I've been looking for you and Sophie for years."
Cute.
She tells him that Sophie died of cancer in her 30s or 40s. So she's gone, but so she sees Ari, and it's just like hugs, and just ends with this thought of like, it's love. We do it for love. We survive for love. We continue on. It's just beautiful, beautiful story, heartbreaking story.
Wow.
And it's not a true story, but Isabel is based on a real person. She was from Belgium, and she helped 118 airmen across those mountains.
Wow.
But she survived. She died in 2007. So.
Wow.
That was a heavy book.
Yes. It was like, it's a book that's going to stay with me for a long time. And it's a book that, like, in my daily life, I'm like, I go get my sourdough bread, and I think about how they didn't have anything, and I savor things in my life. I'm more empathetic. I'm like, it's a really, really beautiful story.